My wife loves Chico's, which, let's see, that's Starbucks, so Chico's is that one there. We mix not only with the folks who live here, but the folks who live in these neighborhoods. And so this very new, cutting-edge type of development is actually, when you look at it closely, exactly the way America used to design and build its communities. It's taken us 50 years to work through a cycle of auto-dependence, to come back to traditional American values and patterns of development, which are all about choice. And the good thing about these patterns of development is not only are they producing the highest returns in terms of development type, they're the most profitable. They need a bit of skill, but they're the most profitable. So not only are they good economic sense, they're good planning sense, and they're good public health sense. Because the amount of car traffic, although there's lots of cars here, there are a considerable number of folks who can walk, who can choose to walk, or bicycle, or rollerblade. And as I said, once you're there, you park once. Now, when I go down to Circuit City, down in Pineville, if I go to Target, I then drive to Circuit City 150 yards away. And I bet all of you would as well. Only a fool would walk in what's called a power center, where you get all these huge stores all lined up. Because the way it's designed is anathema to walking. That choice is taken away, so I get back in my car and I drive 150 yards and I park again. Which means actually my car has taken up 2 parking spaces. And then if I go to Bed Bath & Beyond, I drive again to a 3rd space. So there's 3 times as much asphalt as necessary, because I've used 3 separate spaces, and so is everybody else. Which is why the parking lots are so huge. When you only park once and then you walk, not only is your air cleaner, but you're able to have the choice of walking, getting some exercise, and it's a rather more pleasant experience. So this development style not only is very profitable, but it's also very, very popular. There is something in our contemporary culture which craves as authentic a community as we can find. Now, it's pretty hard, because what's the figures? We move on average every 4.7 years. And if you move on average every 4.7 years, you cannot put down very deep roots. Community depends on deep roots. It depends on people growing together. But in our highly mobile society, and it looks as if that's not going to change much, we have to work harder at creating the venues for community. And places like Birkdale Village can provide that. When you talk to people who live there and shop there and work there, one of the things they say is it feels like a real place. Now, it's a constructed place. It's a bit of a stage set, to be honest. But like all good stage sets, it's pretty successful at creating the illusion which gradually becomes the reality. This is they're waiting for Santa. This is last year, they're waiting for Santa. There are other things that we can do in the design of our communities to reduce the use of our cars, not by taking cars away. There's one thing that really makes me angry. Well, there's several things that really make me angry. I get angry a lot. But the one thing I'm thinking of now is people say, oh, you planners, you architects, you want to take people's cars away. Garbage. That is insulting garbage. See, I'm already angry. I drive a pickup truck, and I love it. I'm not anti-car. I've got a British flag on it, which sort of makes the engine run smoother. But I love my pickup. I'm not about to take people's cars away. The other thing that makes me angry is if I'm in a situation where I have no choice but to use my pickup for every conceivable purpose, because the short trips are those that wear the engine out fastest, right? Even I know that, and I'm not terribly mechanical. So the idea of reducing our car usage is not taking people's cars away. If any of you, I don't expect any of you to necessarily admit that you thought that that was the case, but statistically there's bound to be some of you here who bought into that myth. The idea of reducing car usage is to give us choices that we ourselves can choose when and how to move around. Just think, actually having a large amount of freedom to decide how to move around the city. You'd think that's a sort of birthright almost, but the way we've designed our towns and cities for the last 50 years means that that choice has been taken away. Everybody has to have a car. The amount of money in car payments, if you had one car less, you can, the figures are you can have an 800 square foot bigger area in your house, you have a bigger mortgage, you can invest in something that will gain in value as opposed to a car which decreases in value. It's not about taking people's cars away, it's giving people economic power, clout, options, choice, and choices of lifestyle. We can help as designers by doing things, these are called live-work units. For those folks who are workaholic and the thought of the commute being 5 seconds from the bedroom down to the office turns you on, then this is for you. It's also a very hot item in property development. Live-work units, although not for everybody, certainly are one of the fastest growing building types in the development industry. Once again, for 50 years, zoning codes made this illegal. This is in the town center of Cornelius. And even then, with progressive zoning changes and the improvements to the International Building Code, there are still obstacles to building a townhome over an office. The thought that you would mix uses sends shivers of apprehension through several generations of planners who were trained to believe in all absolute honesty and rigor that this was a bad thing. That's how I was trained. Do not mix uses. It is bad. Now, if the uses you're talking about are Walmart and your bungalow, then that's right. You don't want to mix your bungalow with Walmart. There are uses which you do not want to mix. But Walmart is only one option. It's a very valid option, and we need Walmarts. We'll have Walmarts, sort of whether we want them or not, I think, but they're a very productive part of our community. But they're only a part. And options for different types of commercial and residential activity, where if this is an accountant's office or a coffee shop, it's perfectly reasonable to live above it, or a bookstore, or whatever, a lamp store. All of those sorts of things are in this, at one time have been in this development. And another plan, I'm sorry to show you these abstracts or drawings, but those live-work units are these here. This is the town hall. Those of you who know Cornelius, this is Highway 115. This is East Catawba Avenue. This is the new police station. This stuff doesn't exist yet here. But there's a Bilo grocery. Is it Food Lion? I think, I forget. With some stores here. The parking lot in front. But that is tucked behind this screen of mixed-use buildings. So that you've got the convenience and immediacy and the economies of scale of a large grocery store, 40,000 square foot grocery, standard major footprint of a grocery box, mixed in with the live-work units which frame the entrance and humanize the parking lot and create a customer base that does not need to go and shop by car, which does its little bit